Hi there, everybody. It's me. It is Sunday, February 11th. I missed last week's video. I was completely sick in bed. I had the flu, along with my children having the flu. So it was a rough week. It's been a rough week trying to get back into the swing of things and get a little healthy here. But this week, I guess we're doing the axial and the appendicular skeleton and learning the bones. It was a little difficult, and some of the names are very hard to pronounce, so hopefully it's not too bad. But let's just get the video started and show you what I've learned this week. So of course got my notes. Here's my skeleton, and we'll start with the anterior skull, and we've got the nasal. We've got the ethmoid, it's in here inside the eye socket. Our mandible is the only movable bone in the skull. Also the sphenoid in the back, also in the eye socket area. The zygomatic up here, our cheek area. We've got the frontal up here at the top. The lacrimal is more towards the inside of the eye socket towards the nasal passage. The maxilla, which would be the side cheek area, and the vomer in the nose. As far as the posterior, we still have the mandible. We have the parietal and the temporal on the side over here, and then the back is the occipital. Let's see, where else have we got? Looks like pretty much everything else is all duplicated. There are different forms, but we'll move on to the vertebral column. And let's turn him around. Okay, so we've got the atlas up here at the top, the axis, the cervical vertebrae between here and here, the lumbar, which would be the lower back lumbar vertebrae here, and then the thoracic vertebrae right here in the middle of the thoracic cage. The sacrum is this little bone back here, and the coccyx, which is the tailbone with the tip right here of the sacrum. Turn him around again, back to the thoracic cage. And you've got the body of the sternum, it's right here. The manubrium of the sternum is the top part of the sternum. You can see the separation here. We've got our false ribs, the ones that actually don't connect to the sternum themselves. They actually connect to the bone right above them. The true ribs are the ones that connect to the sternum themselves completely. And then you've got your floating ribs down here, which don't connect anything. They're floating. And then we've got the clavicle up here, which connects the humerus. And we've got the radius and the ulna. And then the scapula is on the back. It's the shoulder blade. Going into more smaller bones in our hands and our wrists. I'll turn this around a little bit. I have a little, probably can't see it from that far away. But we've got the capitate bone, we've got the hamate bone, and we've got the lunate bone. The scaphoid back here, and the sesamoid, and the trapezium. I don't know who comes up with these names. Then we've got the metacarpal, which is the base of the fingers, and then the phalanges. Also the pisiform, it's another small little bone, and the trictrium. That was a hard one. That's one of the small bones back here in the wrist as well. Moving on to the pelvic girdle and the lower limbs. We've got the ilium, the top part of our hip. We've also got the ischium, this bottom part down here, the pubic bone right in the middle, And moving on to that is the big bone, the femur, the big bone in our leg, our thigh bone, our patella, our knee, right here, this bone up here, the tibia, which is the big bone here, and the fibula, which is the side smaller bone. And then, last but not least, we have the ankle bones, which are a bunch of other small bones that you can't see. I've tried to break down. The calcaneus, the heel, and the talus up here, the big ankle bone. And then we've got the cuboid, you've got the navicular, you've got the lateral cuneiform, medial cuneiform, and intermediate cuneiform. They also have the metatarsals, which are the base of the toes, and the phalanges, the toes themselves. So since there's a lot of bones and odd names, but that's what I've learned this week, and we'll see you next week.